Hey, everybody. What I want to talk to you about today is the second coming of Jesus. And I've been wanting to do this for a little while now, especially since maybe the middle of January when the planes started all crashing and having problems. I only mentioned my dreams and my visions and my messages about the second coming to a handful of people. My boyfriend, the love of my life, um, who I currently live with, and who supports me 100%, did not in the beginning believe me when I said that these things were going to happen before I died. I told him, I said, I don't know when, but before I die, I'm going to see this. Shortly after I moved in with him, all of this stuff started to happen. COVID and the whole political mess that we're in, and lockdowns, etc. And people were talking about the storm is coming. And I had also had my visions and my dreams about that. And so one day, he turns to me and he says, I just always thought you were crazy. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, I just always thought you were crazy. Okay, why did you always think I was crazy? And he says, because you always said it was going to happen in your lifetime, and I just thought you were crazy. That was the beginning. That was the beginning of things really hitting the fan. They actually started in 2017. Actually, you can go further back to that, to 2012. But in 2017, things really started to kick in, and the water was being churned so that all the nasty hidden stuff could come up to the top and people could look at what was going on, not just around the world and in politics, but in their own lives. So, a couple of years ago, probably 2 years ago, someone came to me in my sleep, and I get a lot of messages and visions when I'm sleeping. So someone came to me and said, he's here. And I said, who's here? And he said, this person said Jesus was here. And I try to look at the energy of where that information was coming from, and I couldn't locate it. I didn't recognize it. So I asked for some kind of clarification or something that would provide me with some kind of evidence that this wasn't the dark side telling me that he was here, that Jesus was here. And I never got a response. So I did that not because I doubt that Jesus was coming or that he's here. I wasn't asking for that kind of evidence. I was asking for it because in my heart I did not want to be led astray. Because it has been said not to look for him in the mountains, not to leave your homes and your sanctuaries to follow somebody else to go and look for him, to find him, because he will not be there. So that's where I was coming from when I heard that he was here. And this was about 2 years ago. And I never did receive a response for it or any kind of clarification since. However, back in the early 90s, I had had a dream vision. And a dream vision is when I know that I'm sleeping in my bed, but I am having an experience that feels real. So I have an awareness of both realities. And that's what I call a dream vision. So in this dream vision, I was on an airplane with my brother, Ron, who is now passed, and the plane was beginning to fall. And I asked what was happening, because planes were falling out of the sky. Not just the plane that I was on, but other airplanes were falling out of the sky. And I asked what was happening, and someone told me it was the second coming of Jesus. And so and I said in that dream, I said, no, not now. I'm not ready. And so ever since I had that dream vision, I have been preparing for his return. But I have also been watching the skies and the news for anomalous plane crashes or things happening with airplanes. Fast forward to this year, late January or so, I guess, and the news was putting out how many different plane crashes there were, or if not actual plane crashes, then like just yesterday, I think it was, there was an airplane that had to make an emergency landing because the plane filled up with smoke. I don't know if they ever figured out what happened with that. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a plane crash, but anomalous things that happen with the airplanes. And there have just been too many. More than I've ever seen before in such a short amount of time, since I have been watching and paying attention for these signs with the airplanes. So I'm looking here at my notes. So besides that dream vision, I had another dream vision about trying to escape the calamities about with volcanic eruptions. And when I woke from that, I thought, well, that's never going to happen, unless the super volcano in Yellowstone or whatever. I'm not going to find myself trying to escape a lava flow. Well, the other day as I was doing research, I discovered that not only have there been an extra amount of earthquakes, but that there is some kind of volcanic activity taking place near Italy.
Geophysicist Stefan Burns here with more breaking news. We now have two separate seismic swarms occurring in Europe, the one in the Aegean Sea, now also in Italy. Both of them being connected to very large, powerful volcanic systems that exist. First up, we have the seismic swarm occurring off the coast of Santorini Island in the Cristiana Santorini Colombo volcanic field, one of the deadliest in the world. This has been ongoing now for more than 2 weeks, consisting of tens of thousands of earthquakes. There's just been a magnitude 5.1 today, a bit of a resurgence in earthquake activity. We've also seen uplift at Santorini volcano. We'll discuss that in depth in this video. But we're also going to be looking at Campi Flegrei, which has just recently had a flurry of earthquakes, more than 200 in less than 24 hours, two of those being magnitude 3.9s. And this is the most recent burst of seismic activity at Campi Flegrei. So it looks like Campi Flegrei is really waking up at this moment in time.
And my attention was brought to it. And when that happened, when my attention went there, what I was reminded of was my dream about the volcanoes. And that was connected to the end times. Mind you, I've known for over a decade now, for about a decade now, that we were in the end times. But this all points to the second coming. My boyfriend James, 2 or 3 years back, maybe 3 years ago, was on a motorcycle ride by himself, and he got to this point in northern Arizona where he felt overcome with bliss and peace and awe. And so he stopped his bike and took a picture of the sun. um, who takes a picture of the sun? Well, he did. And he sent it to me, and I thought, oh, sweet. And he told me about how he was feeling when he took the picture. Well, as I zoomed in on it because I saw this little white dot underneath the sun. But I zoomed in on it, and I could easily see the winged disc, which is connected to Egyptian mythology and deities. I saw the winged disc under the sun, and more importantly, I saw the face of Jesus above the sun. And so I downloaded the picture into my Photoshop program and adjusted the lighting and the shadows, etc., and the details to try and bring more of it out. And it's on my Facebook, and there's a video on my YouTube channel with those adjustments and without the adjustment. And as far as I'm concerned, you can't deny that it's Jesus and the winged disc with the sun. So could he already be here? Yes, he could already be here. My first real and true vision of Jesus was in 1998, and I was at my mother's house, outside of her house, and I looked down the road. All of a sudden, this concrete 3D reality disappears. Full-fledged, full-blown vision. I'm wide awake. I'm standing on my mom's porch, and this entire reality disappears. And I see Jesus Christ walking down the road towards me as I'm standing on my mother's porch. And I couldn't see the details of his face, but I could see his hair, and I could see that he was wearing a white robe, white linen, or cotton, or something like that. And he stops in front of my mother's house, and he has a stick with a red and white checked handkerchief tied on the end of it. And he's got a few things stuffed inside of this handkerchief. And he stops in front of my mother's house, and he looks at me, and he says, "Pack your belongings in a small satchel and follow me." And I started crying. And then it disappeared. And all of a sudden, I was back in this reality, standing on my mother's porch, looking at the neighborhood, and no Jesus, etc. So the vision lasted all of a couple of seconds, less than a minute, maybe a minute, but I think less. And the reason why I started crying was because I had just told my mother and my sister that I was not going on any more journeys, that I was going to stay home and be with them, and I was going to get a real job and settle down and focus on life. But when I had that vision and Jesus asked me to follow him, I couldn't deny it. And so I was crying because I was going to have to leave my mother and my sister again after I just told them that I wouldn't. And I knew that they were going to be upset with me. And they were. That was 1998. I followed him before, and I've followed him since. And so I created the Wayshower channel because I was told that I was a Wayshower in 1996 for my automatic writing. And I had no idea what that meant. I thought they were saying that I was a way shower. And I thought maybe it had something to do with me staying, driving and parking at way stations, the truck stops, and um, washing the feet of weary travelers. I really thought that that's what they were telling me. When they said I was a way shower, I thought they meant way shower. Okay, so I'm going to wash the feet of the weary travelers. Okay, I don't know how that's going to work out, but and then as time went by, I understood that they meant way shower, and then other people started talking about it and about way showers, and I realized that it was a real thing, that other people were being tapped on the shoulder. So, in order to be a good way shower, I need to share my experiences with you, and I need to tell you about the insights that I get, and especially where Jesus is concerned. So, I'm telling you this now because the signs are all there about Jesus' return, his second coming. And whether that's in a physical body or not, and I'm not absolutely sure on that, but whether it's in a physical body or not, it does not make a difference. It's happening. It's real. And we have to be ready for it. So and speaking of being ready for it, another vision that I had received, a dream vision, was I was in a college union. So in this college union were booths, tables that were set up on either side so that they created an aisle that led to the main auditorium. And on each side, on each of the tables, were New Age stuff and religious stuff. So there were, tarot card readings, there were channelers, there were crystals and gems and all kinds of stuff like that, New Age stuff like that. And I was looking at everything on all the tables, and I was headed towards the gym, or the main lecture hall. But in order to get there, I had to go down this aisle past all of these tables that had the New Age literature and gemstones and readers and channelers, etc. And I'm looking at everything and I'm talking to people. And then just as I'm getting closer to the main lecture hall, there's a man standing in front of the door, and he's getting ready to close the door. And the message that came to me was not to be late for the main show. I had heard, don't get so caught up in all of the tables and the booths that you miss the main show. So I got inside of that lecture hall just as the doors were closing. That's what all of us are going through, all of these things right now. And we're experiencing heightened psychic awareness and deeper understandings, and we're all trying to find that truth that lives inside of us and that connects us to each other and to the cosmos and the universe and God and Jesus. And the New Age stuff is all good. It's all good because it helps you to understand some things. It helps you to move beyond the limitations of functional religions and to explore more. But you can't get lost in that. You can't get so caught up in tarot readings, in channelings, in healing gemstones. All you're doing is you're forgetting that the main reason for it is to know yourself. Know thyself. Because in order to know God and Jesus, you have to know yourself. But don't get so caught up on it that you miss the main reason for all of this. To be prepared for the second coming. Jesus has said within the Bible that he's not coming here to bring peace, but he is coming with the sword, which means things get disrupted, right? And it also says that except for the elect, those that he has chosen, these times, the times of chaos and strife, would go on for a long time. But it's going to be cut short because of the elect. So I'm saying that so that this is not a time to go, oh my God, I need to get right. Don't freak out. Don't panic. Just remind yourself why you're doing this. I'm asking you, why are you doing this? Why are you on this path to discover who you are? Why are you doing shadow work? I'm here to ask you why you go to get your cards read, tarot cards, or seek out channelers. And it's not that I'm expecting any of you to give one specific answer or that any answer is right or wrong. The reason why I'm asking you those questions is to get you to think, to get you to remember why you started on this path in the first place. Because it's important. So, it's like if you take a walk, you're going to work in the morning, okay? And you're walking to work. And you're walking down the street, and you have to be to work by 9 a.m. But you've decided to walk to work because you want to take a look at everything. You want to enjoy the beautiful spring weather and see the flowers blooming and the trees blooming and the birds singing and kids playing, etc., and enjoy the sunshine on your face. And you're so taken in by the sights and the sounds as you're walking to work, the kids playing and the dogs playing and the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees. You're so taken in by all that stuff, and that you forget that you have a deadline to be at work at 9 o'clock. And it's now, and I've said this, I've used a different analogy in one of my other videos, but as you're walking to work, it's now 8:58. You've got 2 minutes to get to work because you've dawdled during your walk. So it's the same thing with the second coming and us being right with God, with Jesus, within ourselves, with whoever you call the Creator, or you consider the Creator to be. So it's really important that we don't lose sight of why we started this journey in the first place. And I know not everybody's going to get this, and a lot of people, because I'm putting this on more places and spaces than my YouTube channel, so a lot of people are going to think that maybe I've lost it or something. This is who I've always been. I just haven't always shared it with everybody. I've been walking that New Age path. Jesus, when he said, pack your belongings in a small satchel and follow me, he brought me here. He brought me out here to Arizona. He set me in Sedona so that I would have full exposure to all of the New Age concepts, to all of the New Age things that were happening, to experience things at the level of awe and of magical things happening, and how people can get sidetracked because of those magical things happening. He brought me here to Arizona so that I could experience it all firsthand. I had no idea at that time that New Age thought was going to explode and that everybody was going to want to understand what empathy is or being an empath. I had no idea that nearly everybody was going to start wanting to hear channelings or get tarot card readings, and because it just wasn't that big in the 90s when Jesus brought me out here. But he knew what was going to happen. He knew there was going to be an explosion, and some very good people who started on this path and towards enlightenment and understanding who they are and their connection to God and Jesus and the universe and to each other, that they were going to get sidetracked. So that's why I'm here as a way shower, is to tell you my experiences and to let you know that those pretty marbles on those tables and the recordings and the soundings and the channelings and the tarot readings, etc. It's all good to help you understand things and to help you reach outside of the limitations of functional religion. But don't get lost, because those are side attractions. And the main show is about you ascending. It's about you moving up out of the limitations of this reality. And it's going to be different for everybody. And I've already done a couple of videos on it. But I don't want this video to go on forever. I just want to tell you that I have had dreams and dream visions and messages. And, and you open the book, the Bible, and what is my message today? And boom, there it is. Or I ask for guidance, and boom, there it is on the television. So, which is the Matrix series that I have been getting messages on and have been asked to watch it a couple of times so that I can help drive the point home, which I will be doing short enough. The last thing I want to do before I end this is to read to you Matthew chapter 10, verse 8, because it was given to me just a while ago this morning. And so I understand I'm supposed to share it. So I had my bookmark in it, and the Bible fell. This is this is my Bible, and I have got notes everywhere. This is the one that I have been using for like almost 30 years. It's tattered and worn, but it has been well used. Mind you, I don't take it word for word. I read between the lines, and I do understand the parables. Okay, so Matthew chapter 10, verse 8. Heal the sick. He's speaking to the apostles. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely you have received, freely give. Verse 9, provide neither gold, nor silver, nor brass in your purses. So, and it goes on, but the message in that is that there is nothing wrong with healing. There is nothing wrong with casting out devils and bringing messages forward. That is not a terrible thing. And also, a lot of people just refer to it, religious people will refer to it as the occult. If the regular everyday person is doing it. But it's not. Jesus said, go ahead, by my authority, go ahead and heal and cast out devils. There is an exchange of energy that should be taking place, or people will take advantage of you. Your time and your energy is worth something. But if you're charging $500 an hour for a reading, you are paying tribute to Mammon and not to God or Jesus. There is a line, and everybody has to figure it out for themselves. But God and Jesus and the ascension process has nothing to do with monetary gain, period. If you are living right and you are following your path, then you don't need all of that stuff. It will come to you as needs be. In other words, offer your services, but don't get greedy. Okay. So anyhow, I just wanted to tell you Matthew 10, chapter 10, verse 8 came to me, and so I had to share it. So that's what the verse means. It has been given freely to you, and so in return, give it freely. Anything else that I said after that is my personal perception in trying to find peace within the world that we live in and what is expected of us and how to go about it on a human level, at a human. All right. Love you all. Bye.